Hey everyone, what is going on? So we have another meta guide for you today in the Mountain Cup, and the Mountain Cup begins tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to run alongside the Open Ultra League for another week, and the types that are going to be eligible are going to be Ice, Ground, Rock, and Steel types, and Swampert is going to be banned, rightfully so, because Swampert is way too powerful, right, with that Hydro Cannon. So I get that for sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it and see what we got for us for the Mountain Cup. So for the S rank, we have rank number 1 going to be Diggersby. Now Diggersby is a very powerful Pokemon, super tanky, right? You could run it with Mud Shot or Quick Attack. I'd probably go Mud Shot, but both moves are really good. And yeah, I mean, it's just such a powerful Pokemon with that Fire Punch, nice coverage for all the grass types, ice types in this meta, right? And Earthquake hitting really hard. So yeah, really powerful Pokemon, and definitely positive we'll see a lot of Diggersby, especially if you have an XL one. I personally have a rank 2 Diggersby, really powerful. I mean, it's a very common Pokemon, so hopefully you have enough XL candy for it. Hopefully you have a good ranked one. Then we have Escavalier. Escavalier is a really strong counter user. Yes, it's so powerful. You know, it's just such a strong. There's not much to say. It's so powerful. I mean, if you're looking for a counter user, Escavalier is definitely going to be the best one. And there's a lot of things that are weak to it, like the ice types, like the steel types, right? So yeah, really powerful. Then we have Wishcash. So because Swampert is banned, Wishcash is probably going to take its throne as the Mud Boy in this cup. And I definitely understand why, right? Lucario is another counter user, and it's good. It's just it is weak to opposing counter users, so it's going to be weak to Escavalier because it is a steel type. But it's really powerful with that power up punch, boosting up the counters, and with Shadow Ball hitting like an absolute truck. If shields are down, nothing is going to be able to take that Shadow Ball well, right? And then we have Gliscor, a Shadow Gliscor. I personally prefer the Shadow one. Just does so much damage. Of course, Wing Attack got a buff. Gets to the Night/Fast. It has Earthquake for really nice coverage. Does a lot of damage. Yeah, really good, powerful Pokemon overall. And it's going to be really strong in this meta. I'm definitely going to be using Gliscor. Well, I'm going to be using the Shadow version, but Gliscor in general is really good. And for the A rank, we have the pre-evolution of Swampert, which, yeah, Swampert is banned, but we have Marshtomp, which is going to be eligible. It's another mud shot user, gets to the moves pretty fast, really fast, actually. So, yeah, I mean, these Mud Boys going to be pretty strong for sure. Then we have a Grass-type Ferrothorn. So Ferrothorn going to be another good one, but it does have to watch out because it has that Steel typing, so it is weak to counter. But it's still a really nice pick for this meta. We have a Abomasnow, which is an Ice and Grass type. So again, another Pokemon that has to watch out for counter. You could go with Razor Leaf, or you could go with Powder Snow on this Pokemon. But yeah, I mean, really strong Pokemon, really fast Pokemon as well. Then we have Torterra, which is the Razor Leaf user. It also has Sand Tomb if you happen to get to it. I guess you probably could get to it and debuff your opponent and then continue with the Razor Leaf damage. Yeah, I mean, really strong. Then for the B rank, we do have Walrein or Shadow Walrein in this meta. So Icicle Spear, Powder Snow Icicle Spear is really strong, gets to it really fast. So I see no reason why this Pokemon wouldn't do really well in this meta. It is nice tape, so again, it does have to watch out for the counter users, and they're both highly ranked. So everyone is probably going to have an Escavalier or Lucario or both on their team. But still a really strong Pokemon. It's going to do well against a lot of the top picks, right? For example, the Diggersby and the Gliscor, and even the grass types like the Torterra if you happen to battle a Torterra. But it also is weak to grass as well. So keep that in mind. Then we have Lapras with the Ice Shard, right? Ice Shard Surf gets to it pretty fast. It could have run Ice Beam, it could run Skull Bash as well, but yeah, I mean, pretty strong Pokemon. We have another Mud Boy, we have Quagsire, so we have a few Mud Boys. Quagsire is another pretty good one with its strong, powerful moves. We have Registeel. You know what, Registeel, there's just so many answers to Steel types. We got the Diggersby, Escavalier, Lucario, Wishcash, Gliscor, right? So many Pokemon that do well. I don't know how common Registeel is going to be, and that sounds crazy because Registeel is a very powerful Pokemon in most metas, right? But there's just so many Pokemon that do well against Steel typing. I just don't know how common it's going to be. But you never know. I mean, obviously it has powerful moves, so even if you run into a Lucario, even if you run into an Escavalier, the Zap Cannon, the Focus Blast, they're still going to do a lot of damage, so it's still a good Pokemon. Then we have Alola Ninetales or Shadow Alola Ninetales. Love the Shadow version. I could run Powder Snow or I could run Charm. Yeah, just a powerful Pokemon all in all. For the other options, we do have Frostlass. So Frostlass does benefit from not being weak to fighting, right? It is an Ice type, but it's also a Ghost type. So it does have that benefit. It's going to resist the counter user attacks. Although single resist them. I mean, it is a pretty frail Pokemon, so it does have to watch out for that. Then we have Donphan. Donphan is a cool Pokemon because it has counter and body slam. I really like Donphan. I wish I had more play. I think it's going to be okay. Maybe above Spice, but not like meta, if that makes sense. So we could see Donphan here or there. Probably not. It's not going to be that common, to be honest. But you could see it. Then we have Credilli. Credilli gets to the moves pretty fast with that Bullet Seed. I really like Credilli. Credilli, another solid grass option. Has powerful moves for like Stone Edge, right? Just powerful moves. Then we have Runerikus. Runerikus with that Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball damage, as well as Sand Tomb to debuff your opponent. It also has access to Rock Tomb. Dugong is another one. If you want the Ice Shot, Icy Wind, it will debuff your opponents. So it does have that going for it. Berserker, another Steel type. Another Shadow Claw user. I think Berserker's okay. Then we have Galarian Stunfisk. So the thing about Galarian Stunfisk, it kind of suffers the same fate but as Registeel, but worse. It's a Steel typing, and all the top Pokemon are going to be strong against Galarian Stunfisk. At least with Registeel, the moves are a lot stronger, and it gets to the moves really fast, and it can hang on a lot better than Galarian Stunfisk can to get to the moves. But, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see Galarian Stunfisk too much. It has to watch out for a lot of top threats. But who knows? Maybe in the beginning, maybe people will use it. Then we have another Pokemon. This is an interesting one. This is Katana. So Katana is difficult to get below 1500. You actually had to have gotten it from the timed research during the Ultra Beast arrival. And then you have to trade with your opponent, so you can receive one that gets below 1500 CP. So not really easy to do. I unfortunately swapped my Katana and it did not go below 1500 CP, so you do have to keep that in mind. But I do think it's pretty good. It is really frail, so it has that weakness to it, but it's still not bad. Then we have Empoleon. Empoleon, Waterfall user. I mean, if it stays away, if it stays away, it has to stay away from a lot, I guess. The counter users, it has to stay away from the grass types. It has to stay away from, Diggersby. No. Diggersby, I guess it does well against, obviously. But, still, Diggersby has Earthquake. So, but it also does well against Gliscor, so it could be okay. Then we have Lileep. Lileep similar to Credilli. We have Skarmory, so Skarmory could be an interesting pick for this meta. One of the few, if not the only flyers in this meta, so could be pretty good. Obviously, it's taking neutral damage from counter because it's a Steel and Flying type. But when it comes to Skarmory, it is resisting Skarmory's attacks. Well, not Fire Punch. It is weak to Fire Punch. And it's doing well against the Razor Leaf users. It's okay. Like, it's actually a pretty okay Pokemon. And then we have Regirock. So Regirock could be a powerful Pokemon. Obviously, Lock On gets to the moves pretty fast. Stone Edge pretty fast. Anyway, that's going to be the Mountain Cup for you. We're going to go ahead and move on to the solid team options. So for the first team, I built a double Razor Leaf team. So Razor Leaf on the Abomasnow with Torterra and Razor Leaf. Now you could run Powder Snow if you want to on Abomasnow, but I built it as a double Razor Leaf team. And then I built Escavalier in the lead. The backline's not going to like Pokemon like Registeel or like the counter uses, whereas Escavalier is going to do well against the Registeel because counter is super effective. It's going to do well against Lucario. It's neutral towards Escavalier, but could be an interesting team for sure. You could maybe add Gliscor in the lead instead of Escavalier, but pretty interesting team. And then the next team, we have a double ice team. We have Walrein and Alola Ninetales. Now, if you want, you could do another ice type like Abomasnow instead of Alola Ninetales. But if you do that, then you're going to have 2 Pokemon in the back weak to counter, whereas Alola Ninetales is not weak to counter. Then I have Gliscor in the lead. So Gliscor, yeah, I mean, going to do pretty well against the counter users, right? The back line, not really liking the counter users, even Alola Ninetales, because if Alola Ninetales has Powder Snow, I mean, it gets to the moves, I guess, pretty fast, but, you know, the moves are resisted because those are Steel typings. And then the next team, we have the double counter teams. I'm sure we'll see double counter teams with Escavalier and Lucario. I'll probably be using it myself. I put Gliscor in the lead. I think the team can work out really well. Generally speaking, you don't have too much to worry about when it comes to Diggersby. Escavalier and Lucario are weak to Fire Punch, but you know, you're still doing a lot of damage with the counter attacks. Gliscor is going to be weak to Ice, but the back line is going to do well against Ice. And then we have another team. We have Diggersby in the lead with Frostlass and Escavalier. So the good thing about Frostlass, I mentioned it earlier, is it is not weak to fighting, right? Because it's a ghost typing in addition to the ice typing. So yeah, Diggersby is weak to fighting, but Frostlass in the back is not. So I think Frostlass could be a pretty good safe swap in this meta, to be honest. So we might see it as a safe swap quite often. I think we probably will. But overall, pretty interesting team. I guess Gliscor could give this team trouble if it's not matched up with Frostlass. But at the end of the day, Diggersby can still tank a lot of Gliscor's attacks, and it can go for Fire Punch. If you happen to be running Hyper Beam, obviously Hyper Beam is a nice surprise from your opponent. Hyper Beam is an option. And then the next team, we have Marshtomp with Ferrothorn and Gliscor in the back. So Marshtomp, pretty spammy Pokemon. You could replace it with another, like one of those Mud Boys type Pokemon like Wishcash. Well, Quagsire I think could work just fine. But yeah, I mean, it's a Mudshot user, so it gets to the moves pretty fast, right? Really fast. And then the final team is going to be Wishcash in the lead again. Could replace it with like the Quagsire or something else. Lucario and Gliscor. So I put Gliscor on a lot of teams. I think Gliscor is going to be a great Pokemon for this meta. Anyway, that's going to be the Mountain Cup for you. Let me know what team you plan on running, and let me know if you're going to be playing in the Mountain Cup or the Open Ultra League. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.